Hey, just waiting for the Tyson-Paul fight. And I was just reflecting on how long this fight has been promoted and talked about, and it feels like for so long. And just like with Trump and Harris, the election was so long in coming, 4 years. And it made me think in the last few days about the phrase, the fullness of time, in the fullness of time, as it talks about in Galatians. And time is undefeated, as the saying goes, and it keeps passing, it keeps moving forward. And I was thinking about how, a lot of people talk about these days about the return of Christ, and that Christ will come back, and more people believe it's going to happen possibly in our lifetime. Now, of course, we don't know that, but it's something in the last 2 years that people have been speaking of much, much more. And in the fullness of time, Christ will return. And there's two things that will happen. Either Christ will return, or we will pass away before that happens and go into eternity. Both of those things are guaranteed outcomes. Even though maybe non-believers might say, well, Christians have been talking about this for over 2,000 years now. When is it going to happen? Is it actually going to happen? And it will, in the fullness of time. And so we each have a fullness of time for our own lives. And so it's so important, as just as it ever has been, to live our life in a way that pleases God and is walking in alignment with Him, getting to know Him more and more, dealing with our junk, maturing as believers. And in the New Testament, it was talked about, Christ's return was talked about as though it was imminent. And sometimes I wonder, did God intentionally make it seem that way so that we would live righteously? Would we live as righteously if we thought we had all the time in the world? And also the fact that Jesus says your life is not guaranteed to you. It's not promised to you. Tomorrow is not promised to you. And so it's with certainty that we will pass away, or Christ will come within our lifetime. And so we need to be very aware and very mindful of what is happening in the world, what is happening in our lives, and to make sure we are wholehearted for God, so that when we pass away, that when judgment comes, as it says in Scripture, it's appointed for every person to die, then comes the judgment, that we are ready, that we can say we know God, that we're endeavoring to walk in holiness, that we are endeavoring to be more mature in God. So hopefully that makes you think, and makes you just think, right, I'm on the right track, or I need to get things sorted so I am in right standing with God. All right, be blessed.